What's going on, fishing buddies? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to go over some of those impulse buys that greatly paid off.
Let's get out there!
So what I've learned through my many years of fishing are there is the sport in the act of fishing, and then there is the sport in the act of buying tackle. Two completely different hobbies. I am definitely that guy that walks into the tackle shop to buy a cup of frozen shrimp and ended up swiping like $75. I think a lot of us out there can agree. Buying tackle, buying gear is an entity all on its own. I spent a lot of time of researching fishing, you know, conditions, weather, things like that, what's biting. And I spent a lot of time researching gear and tackle. And along the way, there has been those impulse buys. Those things we see on the shelf and like, oh, I gotta have that. Don't put too much thought into it and just buy it. A lot of those things end up going in a drawer or in a cabinet in my garage and never get used. But there are some items that I have impulse bought and I can't live without them now. They are things that look good to me at the time, didn't put any thought into it, just bought it, and now I can't live without them. So we're gonna go over a few items today, guys, of my impulse buys that have greatly paid off. Let's start with the Strapinno ratchet straps. If you guys have been following along with the channel, you know I run kayak fishing guides in the Perdido Key, Orange Beach, Alabama, Pensacola area. And a lot of times I have 3 kayaks on a little bitty trailer. And to use ratchet straps is the ideal method because of the strength of them, but they're such a pain in the butt, y'all. They're constantly getting twisted up and tangled. It got to the point where I wouldn't even use them anymore, and I was using some Yak Attack straps for them. But they were sketchy. Like those Yak Attack straps, they work great for like one kayak. So when I got one kayak in the back of the pickup truck, I can strap it down and I can get to the spot fairly safely. But when I got 3 kayaks on a trailer, like I need something that's gonna put some pressure on them. And again, the ratchet straps were the ideal method. I just hate using them. So these Strapinno straps, they popped up in a feed. I don't know if it was on like Instagram or maybe Amazon. I can't remember where they popped up, like a suggested item. I started looking at them. I watched a quick little video they had and I was sold. I basically was putting in credit card information within like 45 seconds. So the way these bad boys work is the strap retracts back up into this mechanism, right? So you have it out. This is your fixed end here, so it's not going anywhere. That's what I hook on first. And then I'll be able to strap things down and then ratchet it in, just like a regular ratchet strap. But when I'm done, it retracts back up into the housing here. Absolutely work great, guys. I've never had an issue with them. I use 3 when I'm hauling 3 kayaks. I'll go show you guys now. So as you can see, I'm getting ready for a guide tomorrow. So I already got these guys loaded up. So I'm running a strap over these 2 kayaks here that goes back down there and connects to the trailer. Another one in the back here that runs back and connects to the trailer. And then I put my canoe on. And so the canoe takes another strap and I hook it to the ends of the trailer here. So actually I'm running 4. I said 3, but I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4 straps. These guys are super solid. I mean, they're not going anywhere. And again, when I'm done with them, everything retracts back up into this housing. So you don't have all that extra strap that you're dealing with your traditional style ratchet straps that are just a pain in the butt. I highly recommend these guys if you're hauling anything with the kayaks, anything like that, furniture, whatever. These Strapinno straps have been a lifesaver. Again, these were an impulse buy. I didn't put much thought into it. I didn't know if they were work or if it was a gimmick, but I was so tired of the traditional ratchet straps that I took a gamble on them. Absolutely love them. After I got them and I saw that they were gonna work, I ordered more. After I used these for a while, Strapinno actually saw one of my videos because I tagged them in it and they reached out to me. So I work with them now. So there is a promo code in the description of this video that'll save you some money if you use it. I believe 4 come in a box. So you order 1 box, you'll get 4 straps. Absolutely love them, no issues with them. I've been using them for about 6 months now and they still work like the day I got them. Impulse buy, Strapinno ratchet straps. It was a good one. Moving into the second item, when I first bought my first Old Town, you know, I needed everything for it. I needed everything. I was buying all kind of mounts. I was buying every mount that they had. This is one that I picked up. This is a Yak Attack. This is just a rod holder. Yak Attack rod holder. I picked it up because I needed this. Impulse buy, saw it in the tackle shop, grabbed it. Used it a couple times for what it was meant for, as holding the rod in the front of the kayak. But after about 3 or 4 trips, I realized I didn't really need it, and I took it off and it went in a drawer. I pulled it back out one day because I needed it for a trip. I was taking 4 rods that day. I'm usually only taking 3. So I pulled this guy back out and I figured out something spectacular with it. So this guy pops on here. That's your little mount that comes with it. I keep it on the front. You know, that's where you put a rod. That's what it's designed for. So I was changing the battery in my GoPro on that strip, and I just happened to clip my GoPro up here, and it dawned on me that that was a great place to keep my second camera. I have one of these clips that I use for a GoPro. This thing comes in handy all the time. So what I've found is that I can clip this guy right there on the end, and now I have the camera in my face to talk and to get different angles. I'm gonna strap it in. Boom! And this thing has gone with me every trip since. And I've also added a little phone mount. So this is just an adjustable little tripod that I wrap around the back end of this mount, and I can stick my camera here and take pictures. So again, that's one of those impulse buys. It didn't work out at first. Like I said, it went in a drawer and it stayed there for a year. But I found a second use for it. And again, I do not leave home without it when I'm on the kayak because it's just a perfect camera mount for me. Well, Yak Attack rod holder, I think it was like 30 bucks. Works great for my phone mount and my camera mount. Moving into item 3, I first came across this product at ICAST 2021. They had the display set up, it looked nice. The truck that they were actually using for the display was the same truck I had. So I knew it was gonna fit. I loved it. Went back to the hotel that night in Orlando because I still had another day at ICAST and ordered it while I was in the hotel. The Porta Rod system. This is the rod carrying system for the back of your truck. You don't have to bolt it in. It ratchets right in. This thing, y'all, impulse buy, and I cannot live without it. So the way this guy works, y'all, is you just throw him in the back of the truck like this. Boom, boom. You got this little crank here. About a crank and a half, and it locks down. I've had this guy going on 2 years now. Now I do rinse it off, like so when I get back from trips, I leave all my rods in here and take the water hose and just spray down all my reels. And so I'm spraying down the system also. So if you want to call that maintenance, that's the only maintenance I've ever done to this. Comes right out. Porta Rod system. This is the inshore series, so they have an inshore and an offshore. The offshore is a bit beefier. I didn't feel like I needed all that. The inshore series works great for me, guys. I am definitely not disappointed with this purchase. And now, just because I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna take a little Corrosion X here. Just hit those moving parts. That's it. Wipe this guy down. I have never done this before. Like I said, almost 2 years. I've never had to spray it down with anything. Nothing. But I feel like it's probably time. Work that in. I mean, there is just no rust on this thing. Nothing, guys. I mean, it's an absolute perfect working condition after almost 2 years of use. Again, I started doing videos with the Porta Rod system, tagging them. Porta Rod reached out, and we are in a working relationship now. So there is a promo code for this too in the description of this video. Item 4 on the list, impulse buy right out of the tackle shop. The Losky Outdoors LKL Gear backpack cooler. I got like 16 coolers, y'all. I don't need another cooler. I got tackle backpacks. I don't need another backpack. It looked pretty on the shelf. I justified the purchase like I have a backpack that can hold tackle and my water bottles and bait. It's an all-in-one combination. I need that. I bought it, went in the garage, didn't use it much. Over the summer, I started getting into fishing the jetties and then walking the beach with one rod, casting out for Spanish, blues, jacks, reds, things like that. Once I started doing those 2 styles of fishing, this thing has become a staple in my arsenal. I'm usually taking one tackle box with me, so I get that one tackle box in here. I'll use some ice packs, some frozen ice packs. I'll throw 1 or 2 in there depending on the time of the year with a few water bottles. Get my scissors in this front pocket. I'll have some leader in there. I keep my pliers attached to my belt, and I can slide one sand spike, a PVC sand spike, down the front of this. I like to take a sand spike when I'm doing that style of fishing for when I'm like changing lures and things like that, or even getting a fish off the hook. I can take that sand spike and stick my rod in there so I can work with it better. All the items I just mentioned fit great right in this backpack cooler. This side pocket is a perfect little slot for my GoPro batteries. And during the summer months where it's raining just randomly almost every day, this guy is waterproof, so I can actually throw my camera equipment in here when it does start raining so I don't get my microphones and stuff like that wet. Definitely an impulse buy. I second guessed my decision for a long time because it just kind of sat in the garage. But then when I found the use for it, it goes with me almost every trip. Anytime I'm jetty fishing, anytime I'm walking the beach, this guy goes with me. Keeps my hands free, which is super important when you're 45 years old trying to jump across rocks on the jetties. So I can have this guy on with all my gear in it, my one rod, and I got my hand free to position myself on those rocks when I'm trying to get out there. Great purchase, impulse buy, LKO gear, backpack cooler. Let's get into the pricey impulse buys. You know, the $30, $40 ones, those aren't that bad. But when you start getting into like thousands of dollar impulse buys, those are the things you gotta explain to the wife. Let's start with the Deerfield Fabrication and Welding upgrades to the beach cart. During the 2022 Pompano Showdown in April, Deerfield Fabrication reached out to us, myself and Lost Key Outdoors. We do host those tournaments, and they wanted to come in as a sponsor. I had seen some Deerfield posts here and there. They had some interesting stuff. So I chatted with Brian and Nick, and we worked out something, and they came in as a sponsor for that tournament. Leading up to the tournament, I chatted with them more and more, and we became buddies. Great guys out of North Carolina. So somewhere in those conversations, they had decided that they were coming for the tournament. They were coming from North Carolina. They were gonna bring some products to showcase. They were gonna fish the tournament. So all of a sudden, because they were coming, I needed everything. It's like, I needed everything, y'all. At that time, I was just using your standard Fishing Mate Senior with the orange tires, 2 tires, pull handle, just right out of the box, standard beach cart. My surf fishing guides have been picking up more and more after that, and I knew I wanted to beef up the cart, especially just get 4 wheels on it. But with the price of aluminum and getting it done and getting it made, the shipping, it was super expensive. So with the boys coming, my justification is I could save on shipping. I might as well get a bunch of stuff, and I did. So the upgrades I got was the lift kit here to get this guy off the ground. I got 2 new axles, 4 new tires, this new handlebar here with the push, and the sand spike holders. And just because I could save on shipping, I got a flag too. Well, a 12-foot flag pole, and here's the mount for that flag pole. So this guy attaches to your frame, and you got a 12-foot flag pole that flies high on the beach. And this stuff ain't cheap, y'all. I mean, it is definitely an investment. And it was an impulse buy on my part because it was basically like, hey, we're coming. Do you want us to bring you anything? And I just spit out some items. So then when they got here, they're like, hey, Blaine, we got your stuff. It's like, then I had to pay. You know, I was like, all right, man, did I make the right choice? 100%, I do not regret that decision by any means. It has made my guides easier. It's made my life easier. It draws attention on the beach, so people come talk to me, and next thing you know, I might book a guide with them. The way I looked at it and pitched it to the wife was, this is a business investment. Once I got it all together, took a few trips out on the beach, it's like one of those eye-opening moments, like what have I been doing for the last 3 years? Could I get by with the standard Fishing Mate Senior cart with the 2 orange tires? Of course I could. But again, running the guides, I'm out there sometimes 3-4 times a week on business, and then fishing personal stuff on those other days. So having this high function cart has just made things easier, y'all. I mean, really. I can get more gear on it. Things aren't falling all over the sand. It looks awesome, and I do not regret that impulse buy whatsoever. Deerfield Fabrication and Welding beach cart guys, they also doing sand spikes. They're doing all kind of stuff with aluminum. Check them out. You can find those guys everywhere. Website, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. They're all over the place. Last impulse item on the list, Black Friday got me, y'all. And it came down to like the wire. There was like 30 minutes left on this sale and I was trying to make my decision. I pulled the trigger on it and immediately regretted it. It was a hefty penny, y'all. Got it home, got it in the garage, you know. Went to sleep that night, woke up and like the high of buying it was over. And then I was just staring at it in the garage and I was like, what did I do? And that purchase was the Old Town Sportsman Salty 120. I already got two Sportsmans. I got two Sportsman PDO 106s and I got an Old Town Discovery canoe. I got 3 vessels already. So how I justified this purchase is I'm running the kayak fishing guides. So when I run the guides, I can only take 2 people. So if 2 people book, I put them in the Sportsman 106s, I take the canoe. If only 1 person books, I take the other Sportsman. The 106s are great for inshore fishing. Do I trust them offshore? Not really. I mean, it's gotta be super flat out there, y'all, for me to attempt to take that 10-foot kayak offshore. So I wanted something for offshore, and I also wanted something that was just mine, that I wasn't fishing out of and running guides out of. So what happens with that is I don't really want to put too much in to building out a kayak like how I want it when I'm running guides with it, because I'm transporting it back and forth. There's sometimes inexperienced fishermen in those kayaks, and not really even inexperienced, they just don't know what's going on. Let's say if I have electronics on there and mounts and things like that, things that we get used to like on our personal kayak that someone like borrowing the kayak might not be aware of. So again, I just didn't want to put a lot of effort and time and money into building out a kayak how I wanted it, because it's just going on the back of the trailer. I'm transporting it. I got to break everything down every time. So it was just more hassle, more to do. So I've just always left those 106s pretty much standard. I think I got an anchor mount on each one and that's it. So with the purchase of the 120 Salty, I can take it offshore and I can build it out exactly how I want a kayak. That sounds like just a recipe for more impulse buys. So the Salty is 2 foot longer than the 106s. So the 106s are around 10 foot. This guy's 12 foot. It's got this nice big angle up in the front here to be able to push through those breakers offshore. And then really minus some storage stuff that the Sportsmans have. The Sportsmen have storage up front here. They have some side pockets here. The Salty is missing that, but really that's the only difference. It's longer, it's a little bit more narrow, and it's got this big nose on the front to help me get through those waves. So with the Black Friday deal, I got that guy brand new for like 1,800 bucks. I think regular price, they're like 2,200, 2,300. Definitely a big impulse buy, guys, and that's exactly what this guy was. I mean, like I said, I was down to 30 minutes before I even knew about the sale, and then had to make my decision in that time frame. I didn't have time to discuss it with the wife. I didn't have time to really even research the kayak. I didn't even have time to really think and say, do I really want this thing? I saw the deal, the impulse kicked in, and my head was just like, go, green light. I've had it out twice now. Once offshore, first time I've ever gone offshore. You guys go back and check out that video. You will be laughing. And I did an inshore trip with it actually this morning. Absolutely love it. What I'm finding inshore, my inshore trip this morning, it's a lot quicker than the 106s. I mean, that thing moves, y'all. And then my one trip offshore, I felt super safe in it. I felt secure. I love it. 100%, absolutely, do not regret that impulse buy. These things are gonna happen, guys. like I was saying in the beginning of the video, there is the act and the sport and the hobby of fishing, and then the act, the sport, and the hobby of buying tackle and gear. 2 totally separate things. And we are gonna impulse buy, and there's gonna be some bad impulse buys. Trust me, I got a cabinet full of them. But these items I showed you today were definitely impulse buys, guys, that, you know, do I really need this? No, I don't, but I'm gonna get it anyway. And they've paid off wonderfully. You guys, leave me some comments in the comment section of an impulse buy that you purchased that now you can't live without. All right, guys, get out of here. I got to play Nerf guns. If you guys are enjoying the videos, please hit me a like, subscribe. Really helps out the rhythm of the channel. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find all my pricing for my guided services at PERDIDOBLANE.com.
Let's get out there.
Wow.